Milan are close to the centre forward they wanted, Gab, and it's neither Rasmus Højlund or Dusan Vlahovic.
No, it's Victor Boniface. You like the little double switch they did.
Boniface.
Yeah, Rasmus, we really like you. Yeah, Rasmus, please come. Rasmus like, oh no, I only want a permanent deal. Hoping that'll push it over the line. No, instead, it's Victor Boniface who's happy to come. You know why he's coming, right?
Yeah.
He wants to get away from Erik ten Hag.
Absolutely.
Obviously, clearly.
Yeah. Everybody does.
No, I think there's been disciplinary issues. There's belief in Patrick Schick. It's a 30 million buy option at the end for Milan,
I think.
Which I don't think is bad. I think the big thing is I don't want Milan to move away from Santi. Close the door on Santi. And a big commitment to Vlahovic, a big commitment on a permanent deal to Højlund would have done that. So good luck to Victor.
Yeah.
More details emerging from events in Marseille. And Jules, this is pretty incredible. We touched upon this on Monday. You're laughing. Ha, ha, ha.
It's
not
amazing.
Funny if you're a Marseille fan. It's freaking embarrassing. Both Rabiot and Jonathan Rowe are on their way out for fighting with each other.
Yeah, in the dressing room after the Rennes defeat on Friday night, we knew, and we mentioned it, you're right, on Monday's show, that they were insulting each other, like a bit of argy-bargy. And it took another twist massively first on Monday when they were expelled from the first team squad and not allowed to train with the first team, which they didn't and still haven't. And then on Tuesday, where they were told by the club that both of them were on the transfer list, that they had to find another club. For Jonathan Rowe, you understand he was already on the transfer list. They were already going to sell him to try to reinvest that money. For Rabiot, however, this is the big one because still only a couple of weeks ago, they were saying that he was the best player they'd ever played with or met or dealt with, that he was amazing, that he was the leader, the highest earner, everything you want. And he went from this to being the pariah and out of the club. So in the Rabiot camp, we believe that you don't get rid of somebody for a fight in the dressing room. And that they actually wanted, because he only has 1 year left on his contract, they could not agree an extension through the summer, that they were going to lose him for nothing at the end of the season, and they just wanted to recoup some money. That's their view of it, the Rabiot camp. At Marseille, they keep saying that the fight was so ugly and so violent that they could not move past it, and that they had to sanction both players by transferring them out. I don't know. I think the truth is probably a bit in the middle, but I don't know what Marseille would do to replace him and even to find him a club with 10 days to go.
Did Zed be traumatized by this? But
I don't believe. Come on.
I'll tell you this, by the way, to what the Rabiot camp says. If they want to recoup some money and move him on. Yeah, dude, that's not the way to do it 10 days before the end of the transfer window, using this as an excuse. Rabiot is on big money. Right?
Massive.
And that could be part of it. You want to save it if you couldn't agree a new deal, maybe limiting his wages, turning him into bonuses like Paris Saint-Germain to do. But right now, if you go and you put a price tag on Rabiot, it's tough to find somebody who's going to take it. I think this could end up as a loan and then maybe free agency at the end of the season, and he sees what's up if he's not going to play there.
It's a tricky one, especially when you know Rabiot's mum, who's the agent and dealing with everybody.
Exactly.
It's not going to be easy. Back to Rasmus Højlund, Gabby. He's become an option for Napoli now after the Romelu Lukaku's muscular injury, which has ruled him out until the new year.
Yeah, so first of all, I feel really bad for Lukaku.
Yeah.
It is a muscular injury. He could have had surgery or he could have had treatment. If he has surgery, he would have missed most of the season, so he's opted for the treatment. That, however, means he's not going to be back until December, which is why he's not going in the Champions League squad or the Serie A squad. All of a sudden, they veered hard towards Rasmus Højlund. What I don't follow here so much, if Højlund didn't want to move to Milan because he only wants a permanent deal, how's Naples different? I mean, I guess Napoli have Champions League football, but the alternative is Artem Dovbyk. Right now, all they have is Lorenzo Luca, who is an extremely large man, even bigger than Lukaku.
Yeah.
But I think Conte likes to have an alternative. The Brazil squad for the upcoming qualifiers against Chile and Bolivia is announced Monday, according to O Globo. No Vinicius Jr. in it. You surprised?
No, because he's suspended for the first game against Chile. So I guess there's no point having him for the squads when you know who he is and what he does. So I'm not surprised.
Around for the crack.
Nah, not really. Yeah. So he can have a rest. But no Vini. However, Rodrigo and Neymar. I included Gabi, and Neymar got a rough treatment from the Santos fan.
Yeah, I think this is a good way to cheer Neymar up, I think. Obviously, it was over the weekend. They got destroyed 6-0. Over there, they have ultras. Now, I'm always goes back and forth on this, right? But it is customary in certain countries. We've seen it happen in Italy. I think it happens in some places in France. Certainly happened in Portugal. Certainly happens in Germany. If you lose, you go and you face your supporters.
Yes.
And you apologize and you explain and you, quote, get motivated. Sometimes it turns into outright intimidation and criminal behavior, which obviously nobody's going to condone. Equally, at the same time, there's a sense of ownership. That's what happened to Neymar. Hopefully, getting called up will cheer him up.
Juventus have to shift a ton of players before the window closes. Gab, I bet they're delighted they managed to send Douglas Luiz back to England to Nottingham Forest.
Yeah, last season he's made just 3 starts.
Yeah.
And it's not like he was unfit because he was on the bench. I think he came off the bench 22 times in Serie A alone. And let's not forget, the club made such a big to-do about signing Douglas Luiz. So clearly there was a breakdown. He didn't play with, I didn't start anyway, with either manager, Thiago Motta or Igor Tudor. Make of that what you want. And on top of that, you had that whole bizarro, mega complicated Arruabarrena, Ealing Jr., blah, blah. I'm glad he gets to play.
Yeah.
Because it's obvious Tudor doesn't like him or likes him about as much as Motta did, which isn't very much. Yeah. I hope Juve fans go and direct some of their bile for this and some of the many stupid things that happened towards Mr. Giuntoli, because I think people need to be accountable. Yeah. And he's the guy who was in charge. You cannot blame this on Andrea Agnelli. You cannot blame this on you can blame a lot on Motta. But this is the guy who did this.
Yeah.
I don't know. There was a really good player in there after a year of being treated like this and performing like this and maybe getting a little bit more round. I don't know, but Juve will be very happy if a year from now they can get it's an obligation to buy 30 million reportedly based on appearances. So curious to see how often he gets off the bench.
Yeah.
Bayern, meanwhile, possibly fishing in what were once Texter water.
Yes.
Sorry, I got to shoehorn JT into the
Always.
show. It's hard because he's not at Palace anymore.
He's not.
He's given up his, sort of given up at Lyon, right? So, Botafogo contact and Molenbeek contact,
I know.
harder. So
come
back, JT. Buy a club and start doing silly things nobody understands. And then,
again.
There you go, Sheffield Wednesday.
Yeah.
Anyway, so they're linked with Malik Fofana.
Yeah, because as we said earlier when we talked about Garnacho, they're still looking for another left winger or somebody who could play right or left, like Fofana, who's a super good, super talented young player who was very good with Lyon on the opening game of the season away at Lens, who wants to stay but also knows the reality of what Lyon are about, and they need money, they need to balance their books, they need to bring money in. So Fofana is, I think, very at ease with the fact that he could be leaving this month, although he would rather stay and have another season in Ligue 1, which is perfect for him. Also in Europe, in the Europa League. But it's not. This is not in his own hands. He will do what the club tells him to do. And if there's a big offer on the table for Fofana on the Lyon table, then I'm pretty sure the club, unfortunately, will accept it.
What's the price range going to be, you think?
Ideally, they want 60 million, which is
60,
which is the price for wingers this summer. And I know wingers more experience than Fofana, but Fofana is very, very talented.
Big upside. That's what you're paying
he's
for.
Very young and a lot of room for improvement too. So we'll have to see. From one winger to another, Gabby, Leon Bailey is officially a Roma player.
Yes, and very much in the Bailey playbook. I'm sorry, this is really mean, but crikey. He arrives, and he's like, yeah, we got Leon Bailey, yes, loan obligation to buy, fantastic. And then his first training session, the guy gets injured again.
Yeah.
So we've kind of seen this happen before. Roma, the Roma fan base, Rome Radio, you're not super excited about Leon Bailey because guess what? They have the internet too. And they said like, okay, this guy's decent player, but they brought in Asensio and Rashford last year. And, when we watched Villa play, the guys who were good were Morgan Rogers and McGinn and Asensio. Not this dude. Yeah. This guy was sitting at the end of the bench. But, so the club spun the tale that, I have no idea if this story is true. I'm assuming it's true, that Leon Bailey's best friend is Jadon Sancho.
Okay.
Did you know this? It was news to me.
No. Yeah, me
too. But they made it seem as where Bailey goes, Sancho will follow. What happened? Sancho says no. Sancho says no to everybody.
Yeah.
I have no idea what the Jadon Sancho long-term game plan is, but it doesn't appear to involve Roma.
No.
Although, I don't know, maybe they'll up their offer for Sancho. Maybe he'll rethink it because if Bailey's injured, he can go and hang out with
I guess so.
And take Bailey's minutes. Why not? Galatasaray are busy raiding Manchester City, meanwhile. 15 million euro offer for Manuel Akanji, 10 million euro offer for Ederson. It's kind of weird. It wasn't that long ago that these guys are absolute mainstays in In fact, it was 2 seasons back, right? That they won the Champions League.
Yeah, exactly.
And
yeah.
they won the 6-2, or they won the treble anyway.
Yeah, completely. Yeah, and Ederson instrumental in what Pep Guardiola has been doing at City for his profile. We mentioned that enough when we talked about Donnarumma. Akanji, versatility in defense, can play centre back, even right back, back 3, back 4, anything you want. Very smart player that again fits very well what Guardiola is doing at the club. But Guardiola also says my squad is too big. I need players out. I can't leave players at home on a match day, which I can understand. That's decent money, I think, for Akanji at his age.
And with his contract situation as well.
Contract situation for both of them. And I guess Akanji won't be replaced because they've got enough defenders. But certainly for Ederson, then that makes way for Donnarumma. So,
are you a believer? Are you now a believer? Did you the Donnarumma thing?
No. Well, it will happen because they're the only one for him and they want him. I don't understand why they want him because he doesn't fit what they do. But yeah, it's the only club that wants him. So that's the only place he can go. He's not going to stay. So yeah.
Wasn't he a key player on a team that became, I forget what the team is, but they won the Champions League last year?
Yeah.
They're pretty good, yeah.
But what do you mean?
Donnarumma. He was a key player on the team. Made some big saves on the team.
No, but he's not going to stay in Paris.
What was the team?
He's not going to play.
No, I'm joking. No. But I'm saying about why they would want him, not why he's going to stay in Paris, right?
Yeah, no, they want him because he's the best on his line. But yeah, his profile doesn't suit the Premier League.
Like Luis Enrique, that maybe Pep is more comfortable with goalkeepers with different types of profiles. If they, I don't know. It seems weird. It seems weird to me too, for the money, because this is De Bruyne money, right? That he wants, right? That's the part that doesn't fully fit for me.
Yeah.
On the other hand, the guy's 26 years old. You get a goalkeeper who can be a top-level goalkeeper for the next 10 years.
Yeah, sure.
You lock it up.
Yeah.
We had the first legs of the Champions League qualifiers, Jules. And it's a very rough night for the Glaswegian club.
Yes.
Rangers and your hero, Russell Martin, lose at home to Bruges.
Yeah.
And Mr. Champions League, Hans van Aken.
Of course.
That's 3-1. While Celtic are held 0-0 by something called Kairat from Kazakhstan.
Yeah, Almaty, if you want even to put it like that, who defended well in this game. For Rangers, they did everything but defend well. They were 3-0 down after 29 minutes, 26 minutes. Horrendous defending. And then Russell Martin blaming everybody but himself for the defeat, which I found really strange. When you just arrived, it's the fans' fault, it's the club's fault. It's been tough for them for years and years and years, so there's nothing I can do.
He said they had one good season in the last 15 years.
Yeah. Wow, okay.
In Europe, they've
Russell.
had decent results, by the way, Russell.
Yeah, and also, and it's not because they haven't won the title before that. It was obviously a bad season either. Yes, it's better if you win the title. But yeah, so I'm not sure. Obviously, both games now, second leg will be away from home. In Kazakhstan, long way to go for Celtic. In Belgium, with the back against the wall, certainly for Rangers. I don't know. I don't see either of them qualifying. I guess Celtic in slightly better position, but it won't be easy to go to Kazakhstan.
I think if Bruges qualify, I think Solis is staying, which I think is also a big deal for those transfer market watchers.
And meanwhile, Gab, Jose Mourinho's Fenerbahçe missed a golden opportunity against Benfica.
Yeah, well, this is the club. People forget this because Jose Mourinho, of course, identified with Porto and stuff when we won the treble. But he had that stint early on. I think it was after Jupp Heynckes was sacked at Benfica. I think that was actually his first full-time top coach job. And you could just imagine it, right? It's Fenerbahçe, it's Mourinho, Benfica come in. 0.34 XG on both sides.
Yeah,
and the last 20 minutes, Benfica down to 10 men because Florentino Luis getting sent off, and they can't get it over the line. It's going to be a cauldron in the return leg.
I mean, the best is probably what Mourinho said after the game when he said, like, you saw the way Benfica was playing, that they wanted to come here and just defend. And then he said, but who am I to talk? I went to Barcelona with 10 defenders one game. So, fair enough, Jose.
Can I say something? We often make fun of the guy for obvious reasons, but respect. This is genuinely funny. It's genuinely funny. Yeah, and if he's learned to kind of poke fun of himself as well,
exactly,
then that's a good thing. Well done, Jose.
I agree.
And good luck at the Estadio da Luz.
Yes.
Well, Pogba is now in Monaco, of course, and
apparently
has forgiven his brother Matthias. I find this whole I find the whole story is mind-blowing and extraordinary. I'd like you to sum it up quickly for us.
Yeah, I mean, remember 3 years ago now, I think, Pogba was the victim of
Extortion attempt.
extortion attempts led by one of his own brothers. He's got twin brothers who are older than him. It's one of them, Matthias, and some friends that he had since his childhood who grew up with him. For some of them, went to jail. They went to a tribunal, and they were convicted of that extortion attempt.
By the way, sorry. When we say extortion attempt, we're not talking about, oh, Paul, give me some money so I can buy a new motorbike. Otherwise, I'll tell the media mean things about you. No. We're talking about essentially getting kidnapped by people with balaclavas and automatic weapons. Yeah,
gunpoint. Yeah. It was a horrendous ordeal for Pogba, and I guess you learn to forgive, especially when it's your own family. And it was the Pogba twins' birthday this week, and they were all reunited together with their mums as well. So the three brothers, Paul, including Matthias, despite what happened a few years ago. And I like it. I think for Paul to move on, he had to forgive, and he did, and he found the strength to forgive his own brother for this horrendous incident, and I think that's good for him. The Bundesliga has taken a novel approach with his highlights, Gab.
Yeah, so look, we go into sort of more of a football business type thing, but we always hear from broadcasters, no, we want exclusive rights to this, we want exclusive rights to that, we're not going to share anything, right? Which is generally the attitude in most European countries, but certainly in Italy, certainly here in the UK, it's always been that, right? The Bundesliga are saying, we're going to go and we're going to separate them out. We'll give it to different broadcasters in different contexts. And what made a lot of headlines is also the role of YouTube, because they're not just putting their highlights and games on YouTube, which others have done, but they've gone to two very successful kind of YouTubers. One is the YouTube version of the Overlap podcast, which involves our friends Ian Wright and Gary Neville. Yeah. The other one is this Mark Goldbridge guy who's got a massive following against Manchester United fans.
United fan, yeah.
I don't know how this is going to work, because especially on the Goldbridge angle, you have a really big audience.
Yeah.
Presumably people tune into it to hear him talk about Manchester United.
Yeah, you would think so.
And presumably part of the reason he's successful is because he comes across as authentic, right? So I won't be watching because I have other stuff to do, but I'll be curious to see how he approaches it with, he says, guys, we've done this deal with the Bundesliga. I'm giving it a shot. You'll be getting some coverage. Nobody wants him to think, oh, look, you're selling out. And, you used to make fun of these people and, whatever. So it's an interesting one. It just shows how I think things are evolving out there.
Yeah.
Jules. Aww. Okay, we can't kick Texter around this show, and we haven't referred to Peter Bosz. So let's talk about Erik ten Hag.
Oh,
he's getting rid of everybody. Double A. Amin Adli. He's leaving Bayer Leverkusen for Bournemouth.
Yeah, for Bournemouth for 30 million euros, which is what Bayer Leverkusen wanted. He was very good the season of the title, not so good last year when he had injuries, and it was just not as successful of a season for Bayer Leverkusen as a whole.
Sorry. On Amin Adli, remember the game when Clever Clogs played him at center forward against Bayern and then undid the season?
Okay, second striker is his best position, really. He can also play wide. He's got so much space. And at 25, I think he really wanted a new chapter in his career and come to the Premier League, where I think his style fits the league and certainly fits the way Bournemouth are playing. So this is a good move for him.
So wait, it's him wanting a new chapter, not him wanting to get away from Erik ten Hag.
Well, I was going to say,
here we go.
Is there too many departures now to not be a coincidence?
I mean, they've raised a ton of money, so I don't know. I generally don't know what the approach is now, because they brought in some players. They haven't brought in that many players.
No,
there's certainly more departures than incomings. I don't know if it's a case where Bayer Leverkusen says hey, look, we have one of the biggest stadium naming rights deals in the world and so on. We got a corporation behind us, but we're still a club with, our stadium holds 29,000, whatever it is. And we did spend a ton of money for when Xabi Alonso was there to give him the tools to go do something important, and he did. But now we got to kind of claw some of it back. And if that's the case, did Erik ten Hag know when he showed up here? Is he annoyed that they're letting these pieces go? Does he not want them?
Well, like you said the other day, maybe he's on board with the transition. He's happy to get rid of all those players, bring some new ones, which he's done already, Kwanzaa, etc., etc. Maybe, but I don't think it's a good look when you just arrive at a club and everybody's leaving.
Keep a look on Palacios as well.
Yeah. Atalanta have their Matteo Retegui replacement, Gab, and it's Nikola Kristovic, who signed from Lecce.
Yeah, here's my question, right? So, man goes and scores a moderate amount of goals. It was 7 for Retegui, and it was 7 the first season, 11 second season for Kristovic. Sort of old school center forward type scores. Moderate amount of goals for mid to lower or to bottom half of the table team.
Yeah.
Moves to Atalanta, becomes top scorer, and then gets sold to Saudi Arabia for 65 million. Hey, does lightning strike twice?
I don't know, but that was with Gasperini as well, who's not here anymore. Can Juric make Kristovic what
The very
Gasperini made
charismatic Juric. Yeah, I like Kristovic was good for Lecce on a team that doesn't score many goals, but it does kind of, to me, bring to mind the idea that when we judge strikers and goal tallies, we always have to look for context, especially with certain profiles of strikers, because you need people to get them the ball. If they don't get the ball, they're not going to score. And the same, by the way, we talked about this on Monday with Gyökeres as well, right?
Yeah.
In terms of, let's laugh at Gyökeres. Dude, you only get 3 touches in the box. Yeah, but you have to watch the games, make up for yourself. Did he only have 3 touches in the box because he kind of stank up the place in his first game or whatever? Or was it the style of play that means he maybe isn't going to be as prolific as he was last year? So this is why context matters, and you can't just look at goal scoring numbers.